Shanti. So, welcome everyone. The title of today's class is always same, right? It's called Tuesday Talk. And the talk happens when the conversation happens two ways. So I certainly hope that it's not just myself speaking throughout the session, but it will be a very beautiful interactive session. So let's begin with a note of peace. We will just hold our, whatever we do from now, this moment now onward is containing today's class theme. So we will go on to the translation of that later on, but let's just be and sit in our comfortable seat for now. For next maybe 3 to 4 minutes, I will play a soothing meditative sound. So these 3 minutes and 11 seconds put us in some state, right? Our being is changed from where we joined this Tuesday talk session to now. Somewhere something happened, the union happened. And that union, the word union, translates in Sanskrit is yoga. So yoga literally means union. So let's see how this yoga, the connection, the union can be very easy and natural. And what are the requirements for that? So can anyone say, if anyone has any idea about 8 limbs of yoga, the Vinyasa yoga, Patanjali yoga, have you heard term like that before? Some say yes, some say no. Good. Okay. So next I'm going to share some slides. It's not going to be a slideshow. It will be an interactive session, I promise you guys. So
I
the
would like
title,
to check, Nira, just how is the sound for everyone? Can you all hear? Great.
thank you.
Gerald, are you okay? Can you wave your hand? Great. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. So the title of today's class is Breathe Life into Body, Mind, and Soul. So we all know what the breathe is, like how we take the air in and take it out. Simply, in simple language interpretation, it's just very simple process. But then when the air we breathe goes into the body, something vital happens inside the body. And that vitality gives us life, gives life to this body. And when this body is live, the soul can live within this body. So the body is an instrument where the soul can live happily or unhappily. So it is very important for us to keep the body healthy so that soul can live comfortably in this body and do its actions. It sounds a little bit opposite at this point, but I am sure that towards the end, everything will make sense. So today we are going to, for this next 3 Tuesdays, we are going to oversee, just touch base, the 8 limbs of yoga. 8 limbs are the yamas, which are the self-restraints. The niyamas are the observance for our own selves. So yoga is not just the artistic poses. Yoga is made of 8 limbs, and together they make a beautiful life and lifestyle where mind, body, and the soul resides within this mind and body beautifully and lively. So the asana, the yoga asana, the popular term yoga poses, comes at the 3rd number, not at the 1st. The number 4 is the pranayama. 5th is pratyahara. I'm just saying Sanskrit names so that we get familiar with those terminology as we go on to the further talk. Then the 6th is the dharana, the inculcation, imbibement. The seventh number is the dhyana, is the meditation. And number 8 is the ultimate contemplation. It's samadhi. It's the ultimate blissful state of the soul. So how can we attain this beautiful state of soul blissfulness? It comes at number 8, which simply means we have to follow all 7, and then we can reach to that number 8 state of the being. So number 1 is the yamas. Yama define a healthy relationship with others, or we can say with the society. The yamas and niyamas, in fact, are there are 5 points in each under each title, and they are just not just the virtues, but they are real jewels or gems which really decorates us into royalty. So I would just name them briefly and take the slide down. Number 1 is Sanskrit name first, ahimsa, translates to non-violence. Satya, truthfulness. Asteya is non-stealing. And number 4 is brahmacharya, it's celibacy. And number 5 is aparigraha. We will learn all this terminology and it will become so easy to remember. Aparigraha means non-greed. So let's come to the number 1, non-violence, ahimsa. I will remind again, the term yama is the number 1 limb of 8-limb yoga, and it built up of 5 restraints, which if we follow, we can establish a wonderful relationship with society. And when our relationship with society is easy, acceptance is on both ways, then we have a better way to sit in our own comfortable seat. If our relationships are not good, somewhere we feel uncomfortable, and whenever we sit into meditation, it is going to pull us. So it is very, very important to establish the relationship first. So let's see, for number 1 is the ahimsa, non-violence, and literally non-violence is, as we understand, is like killing, non-killing or just harming anyone physically. But in a deeper sense, when it comes to the spirituality, it means a lot more. So if we want to practice ahimsa, as we become more aware of this terminology, non-violence, we learn about our ability to be non-violent depends directly on our ability to be non-violent from within. And our inner strength and character determine our ability to be peaceful person from within and then with the outer world. If there is no peace from within, we cannot be at peace with the outer world. And so for that, there are some certain components that are required. Number 1 is the courage. Opposite to courage is fear, right? So to develop the courage, we need to find a courage to find the fears. What are the fears that affects us? I would like to hear from any one of you, or maybe more, that do you associate with any kind of fear? You can raise your hand. I can pause the recording. You can unmute yourself and speak. If you're speaking, I will pause the recording. Yes, unmute yourself. So fears are, there are certain fears very in the physical form. They are like violent attacks or um, building protection walls around the homes. Definitely, then we have the fear of somebody getting into our boundaries, right? And then we feel possessive to protect our possessions. These are the normal physical form of fears. And there are other fears which are imaginary. These imaginary fears are like fear of certain objects, animals, or for example, like some people have fear of dogs, some has fear of height, or some has fear of uh, something darkness. So these are all imaginary fear. And to get rid of all these fears, we need to develop the courage. So courage is not absence of fear, but in fact, courage is to face the fears and to live fully and to live fully with our purpose boundlessly. So number one is to develop the courage to live with non-violence. If we are being fearful, then out of the fear, we act in a compromised way. And in a subtle form, we do the violence either to us or to others. And then we need the balance. So balance is something courage can build on the inner balance. Balance doesn't come by itself. First, we have the courage, and then we can go into the balance. So in this time and age, we get bombarded with many stimulations from the media, from the noisy, rushy people, and that seems so, some advertisements, everything in the outer world seems so promising and to fulfilling that, oh, uh, this is so good, that is so good. And deep inside, we feel like that if I have that, if I have this, then all of my desires will get fulfilled. If we are not geared to keep the balance, we can easily fall victim to this false promising things around us in this time. So, and that busyness and that those desires to get everything around us will fill up every little space in us, within us, and that will leave no room for a free breath. So, balance is required in regard to what is true and what is not true, and what are the false promises. We need to discern all these factors, learn to discern to all these factors. The health of the body, mind, and soul is a powerful resource. By keeping ourselves in the balance, we stride very easily. I love the word stride here. Many of us has driven the bicycle in the younger age, right? And how that once we learn how the bicycle runs so smoothly, and then we enjoy the stride, and that can make us feel this connectedness with the living the life with easy stride. So that's what it is. And also one more thing in this is that when we have as Sister Julian said, when we have painted ourselves with certain norms or certain ideas, then we develop the ideas of guilt or shame or good, bad, like that. And sometimes we have that within ourselves and we expect something else outside in others. So it's not going to be different. Whatever, it's like a simple example, whatever color of the uh, paint can we buy, whatever color is in the container is going to paint, same color is going to paint the walls. So whatever we have within us, we are going to see the same thing in the outer world. So number one, we need to develop the courage, and then we need to bring the balance and love, and that develop the love towards ourselves and others. If we have love, and second thing, whenever the love comes, the one word naturally flows with that is the compassion. Love and compassion. And love and compassion we need to develop for first for ourselves. Sometimes we are so harsh, we are with ourselves, we are so busy, we don't know who we are anymore. There is very little time to look inside, and that all makes us so busy. We lose the connection with our core self. So first, the courage, balance, love, and compassion. And when we see ourselves with that love and compassion, then we have those qualities within us. And again, we go back to that example of a container of the paint. If we have love, compassion, balance, courage, everything within us, these shades of color in this container, then we are going to paint the outer world with these beautiful colors. So that is a component of, these are the components of developing the non-violence for us and for others. The second yama is the satya, truthfulness. So the Sanskrit term satya is made of the word sat, and in Sanskrit it translates to which exists. So we all know that truth exists and truth never changes. So satya in turn means the truthfulness, seeing and reporting things as they are rather than the way we would like them to be. So oftentimes, for example, I don't like something, I don't like world to be this way, something bad happening in one corner of the world, and internally I'm not accepting it, and if I don't have an eye to see the reality, I will hide the truth to myself, or I will just close my mental eyes to see that truthfulness. So that is not the virtue of practicing the satya, the truthfulness. So it's a satya, the truthfulness. It is also a self-expression versus self-indulgence. Sometimes living the life from the depth of our being frees up our energy and vitality. So we and everyone around us benefits from that attitude when we live our life from the depth of our being. If we live life superficially, hiding the truth, it's not going to help us or anyone around us. And that is ultimately, it's not going to help us sit in a meditative form. The other component of satya, practicing truthfulness, is the need to belong versus need to grow. So all human beings have a desire to have a sense of belonging. And in contemporary words, I can say desire to fit in. And sometimes to fit in into the whatever group we see around us, we lose ourselves. And when we lose our inner selves, there is no possibility to grow. There is no growth. When there is no growth, there is no room to breathe. There is no fresh air. There is no vitality. It is the stuntedness, and that leads to the death. Next jewel that can really adorn us is asteya. It's non-stealing. Asteya has that this word has the spelling is Asteya. So removing the A, the word is steya, which means stealing. And a stealing means non-stealing. Asteya means non-stealing. So non-stealing, when we say or think non-stealing, often we think of just the tangible objects. But what about the intangibles, such as the information, the emotional favors, and much, much more? Let's see what are the components in this non-stealing. This is really going to open our eyes how we steal from everyone around us. So stealing from others, how that happens when we compare ourselves with others. What happens when we compare ourselves with others? Would anyone like to share what happens when we compare? When we compare, it can either make us feel inferior or we are lacking something because we feel that others have more than me. And that is ultimately going to feel us cheated because we are comparing with the false things. We all have our own individual unique essence, but when we compare with others, we lose a sense of that unique essence. And that is cheating with ourselves. Or the comparing can result into like, I am a superior. I have more better things than that person. And in that diminishing talk or thoughts, which will leave us into some sort of arrogance. And that is ultimately a violence. We are violating others. Sometimes we feel if somebody is talking to us and sharing that beautiful example, immediately we jump in and say, oh, I have that, I have this. We are trying to prove what we have is better than them. But at that moment, we forget that that person has that little joy or that something that person wanted to share. We stole that joy from that person. Very, very subtle and micro emotions we need to manage to practice this jewel of non-stealing. We steal from earth and environment. We walk so harsh. We kill a lot of vegetation. Damage. We use so many. We as in humans at a large, We don't respect the earth. We don't respect the environment. Often we leave the trash laying around, use the things and just throw, not what I can say is not appreciating in a deeper sense. We take things granted. We don't value the food we get. So all of these are like we are stealing from the environment. And when we spoil the environment, we steal from the future generations. Environment gets bad. We can see that the air quality, how it is today compared to past 20 years. We have, as a humankind, we have added into that spoiling of the environment, and the newer generation is from very young age, they have started suffering with sicknesses related to the bad air. So we stole from the future also. So the next jewel is very beautiful. As the Brahmacharya, the translation is celibacy. The literal translation of Brahmacharya, Brahma is the divine, and the Charya means walk. So Brahmacharya means walking in the God consciousness. And this jewel invites us to live with the God. How that would feel, right? How that feels, even the idea of walking with God rather than being in indulgence. So this invites us to see each relationship with the type of relationship we have with the divine. How beautiful, right? If we have an eye of divine, whenever we see or look at any person, that creates a divine relationship with everyone around us. So Brahmacharya, at thinking at first, it seems so hard, but we know even the simplest things can stir our internal being and liberate the joy and blissfulness from within. For example, we can remember the best moment we went on last vacation. There was a beautiful scene, the fantastic, spectacular color show of the sky at evening, sunset time, the beautiful sunrise, the chirping of birds, all of those moments, the gentle touch of a loved one, the wind blowing, gentle wind blowing into the forest, touching to the trunk of the trees, even the smooth breeze when we are outside at a comfortable temperature and the smooth breeze touches our skin, gives us joy. So just such simple moments, simple things can easily fill us up with the form of pleasure and make us feel like overflowing our state of joy. So when this state of joy we feel with the simplest form of things or the nature or of just being, that flows us into the expansiveness beyond the bodily indulgence. We grow our senses to a larger level. We become more expansive and we become humble. We start appreciating every little thing, every little beautiful thing. How amazing that practice is. And many of us, we already know that how beautiful this practice of brahmacharya is, right? So all the sensual pleasures are replaced by real inner joy. So the next, number 5, in the Yama section is the aparigraha. This aparigraha is the non-greed. Graha, aparigraha. Graha is to grasp, and pari means things. So taking things. It simply means taking things. The translation is the non-greed or non-possessiveness. And this is also not just in the tangible physical form of taking or stealing somebody's things, but it goes beyond into a subtle level. Like if we hoard many things, if we hoard many feelings, our mind get cluttered. We have so many things in our home, our homes can get cluttered. So for a simple example, how we breathe in and out. We inhale in and then exhale out. If we want to hold the breath in, how long we can do that? If we hold the breath even longer time, then what happens? We don't get the fresh oxygen inside, and the whatever air is within us, it becomes toxic. So that toxicity equally relates to holding too many things or holding clutter in our head that will not give us room to breathe, and our life will feel stunted. There is no growth there. So in the yogic maxim, they say that all the things of the world are yours to use. We can use anything we see in the world, but we don't own them. And everything is not meant to own. We can use it, but not meant to own, right? That is the essence of the aparigraha, the non-possessiveness. Oftentimes, we keep say that my home, my car, my phone, my people, my child, my spouse, and that my, the language of my, I, mine makes us think everything is mine, and that grows the sense of possessiveness. So that is the number 5 jewel in the section of the yama. And if we practice the non-possessiveness, we let go of people around us, we don't hold them in our possession, and that creates a free bond, a bond that is not based on any expectation, and a bond that is not going to create a shame, or that is not going to create disharmony or anger or violence to each other. So yamas, all these 5 factors are very, very important to establish the relationship with the society. And then comes the niyamas. Niyamas means the discipline, literally translates to discipline. And again, there are 5 jewels in this category as well. The number 1 is the purity. Sanskrit name is Saucha. Now, the purity can be on the 2 levels. One is the physical form, like, right? Every day we clean ourselves. That is purity, and that is must. Another purity in the yogic term, or nowadays it is very popular, the term is called detox. They don't call it purity, they call it detox. So detoxing the internal body with different methodology, that is also a cleansing, purifying act. But then purity, saucha, is in spiritual aspect is integrity, to live with the pure self, to leave what we have inside, to share the same to outside. That is called the purity. Purity is not something we want to hide something. Oftentimes we feel like each these jewels are interrelated. And yes, that's true. They are interconnected. So that's the purity. Then the second jewel in the niyama section is the santosha, contentment. Santosh translates to contentment as well as the delight or happiness or joy. We can easily relate to this, right? When we are contented, we don't want any more. Our desires are satiated. And when we don't have any desires, it naturally leads us into an easy form. The form which is at ease, we can sit for the meditation very, very easily. So that is the santosha. And when we are contented, we don't seek anything else in others as well. We don't feel others are at deficiency. We don't feel that others are lacking in something because we have an eye to look at others. That eye comes from our feeling of contentment. So that is number two. The number third is the tapa. Tapa translates to self-discipline. Self-discipline. So tapa, in Sanskrit, tapa translates like something which is being heated by the heat. And it also means we cook. To make things tender and edible, we have to cook things. So transformation happens there, right? So, and for that transformation, the heat is required. So that to bring the transformation in ourselves, that heat is required. And that self-discipline in certain manner is very, very important. So tapa accompanies any discipline that is willingly and gladly accepted in order to bring about change of some kind, whether change or transformation, whether it be improved health, or it can be a new habit, or a better concentration, or it can be different direction in life. So whatever we want to do, something new, which is not normal, we need to follow certain disciplines. And that discipline requires focusing, steadiness, and that is called tapa. Through the order of the tapas, we choose to make healthy changes in our lives, but focus on only one or two changes at a time. If we try to focus too many things at a time, we want to transform ourselves in too many ways, then we are going to deplete our energy. That energy we need to transform ourselves will be depleted. So we need to focus only one thing at a time. So again, niyamas are something which can set us ourselves as a higher level. So then the next one, the last one in the niyama section is the surrender. Ishwara pranidhana, the surrender to the divine. Ishvara refers to the divine, the higher source. And pranidhana means surrender. So together, these words translate trustful surrender to the God. And the last and the most important of the niyamas. Why it is most important? Because perhaps the most difficult the students to embrace, I think. The niyama is not, this niyama is not a process of defeat or of mindlessly submitting to another's will. It's not like that, but it is the act of giving ourselves to a higher purpose. We have to give up our own ego, our own perspectives, our own beliefs and belief system to the higher purpose. And then we can be helpful, or our existence is useful to a larger level. Otherwise, if we are just bounded in our own belief system, in our own mind, our own being, we cannot flourish in growth. And that is again is a sort of death. So I will quickly show you the slides of the this is for the yamas. Let us rewind one more time. Ahimsa, non-violence, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. And the next one, the niyamas, are the self-disciplines. And these are the set of the real jewel that decorates our true royalty. Another set of the jewels. The niyamas are Saucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, and Ishwar Pranidhana, surrenderness. And then the third limb of the 8-limb yoga path is the asana, the yoga poses. So now, as we saw the 8 limbs in the previous slide, these all 8 limbs follow or proceed one by one. And when we have the yamas, niyamas, asanas, and all other factors in our being, then the ultimate goal is to reach to the samadhi, the pure contemplation, right? So this is the purpose of the yoga. True purpose of the yoga, either it is the Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga, or Raja yoga. Our purpose is to reach to the divine state of being and reach to the divine power, right? So as we see in the media in this time, the information, every yoga sites, every yoga studios, they are like delivering and asking us to do something which we are not able to do. And the purpose of the yoga asana is completely lost. It's a myth that yoga means yoga asana. No, yoga means to reach to that number 8 limb, to this divine blissful state. And for that, one should be able to sit in that comfortable position. So let's go back to those first few minutes we sat with the beautiful music, right? Remember those moments, recall those moments, and tell ourselves that what we felt at that time. Just be in a quiet, and we will go back into that state. Take a deep breath in And a very long breath out. I would really love if someone would share the feel of those first 4 minutes. That will be really impactful sharing to go further. I would love if someone else shares rather than me just talking and talking. No one? Not ready yet? Okay, that's completely fine. Okay, so I can translate the different feel, whatever someone would feel, may have felt that way, this way. So it was just the beginning of the class. We may have come either from the work, or maybe we just finished the dinner and we still have a fresh taste of our meal in our mouth, or we may have accomplished or something, or we may have left something halfway and joined the class. So there are different emotions and feel of being present here. So what happens when we have that state of mind? Even if we try to sit and meditate, our mind will recall that whatever we left, whatever was not complete, or I'm trying to be in the meditative state, but the taste of food in my mouth draws my attention somewhere else, right? So all of that factors can affect of our ability to sit in a quietness. To sit, asana, what asana means is to take a sit. So the sit can be again multiple, can be translated in multiple ways. One is the physical sit, and the second is the mental sit. Even if we are sitting here physically, but our mind is somewhere else, then we have not taken the mental sit. I'm ready to meditate. I want to be in that quietness, internal peace. But my leg is tight, my knee is hurting, or my shoulder is tight, my neck is tight, my stomach is hungry, then I'm not going to be able to sit in a meditation, right? So, all that can draw our attention away. So, practice of asana means to practice certain poses that can help us to sit physically in our quietness. And the yamas and niyamas are the factors, the jewels we can adorn. I can literally imagine right now that those yamas and niyamas are the jewels, and the jewels are just dotted here, one by one, and decorating the crown of my head. When I have those yamas and niyamas built in here as a jewel shining, my mental state is ready. And when I practice certain asanas just enough to ease out my bodily complaints, then I can sit for the meditation. This is the purpose of asana. So, what healthy body means? Healthy body means the body which is pain free. All the excretions of the body are normal, and all the movements of the body are free flowing, right? What more thing happen when we practice yoga asana? Practicing yoga asana happens in a particular way. Each yoga asana has a way to go into the pose and way to go out of the pose. And the most important factor while practicing yoga asana is the central breathe, central mindful breathing. So we can practice right now moving in a certain way. I will just move my chair a little bit behind so that you have better visibility. So you can all adjust your seat and try to create a straight posture. Now, I will just raise my hand up with a deep inhale in, and you are welcome to do that with me. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right. And now we try to reverse it. Let's reverse it. First, inhale right here when hands are down here. Inhale. And exhale and take hands up. Inhale down. Exhale, take hands up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale. All right. Now try to remember both of the actions where we were able to inhale more deeply and where in which part, first or second, our breaths were shallow, right? The second set of movement had shallow breaths. Shallow breaths means less oxygen inside the body, which means when when we breathe in, it's just we learn that oxygen goes in, it goes into the body, something happens, and the carbon dioxide comes out. That is a normal definition of or understanding of the breathing. But in the deeper sense, when we inhale the oxygen in, it turns into the vital energy. It's called the prana. We will go into that into next class, the prana section, but that oxygen turns into the prana and spreads that prana. Prana means the life energy, the vitality that spreads into our whole being. And that is very, very important. So deeper inhalations and most long complete exhalations are important for a best breathing practice, or natural breathing should be such. But the respiration is a involuntary action. Normally, we don't control that. It just happens. It happens by sensory nervous system, that just motor nervous system. We don't control that. But we also have the ability to control it. That's the beautiful thing we have. And that is why we do the yoga practice with the mindful centric breaths. And with that mindful centric breath, when we do the poses, all the muscles or the internal physiological systems, the respiration, the circulation, the excretion, everything, the nervous system, the reflex systems, all those physiological systems work at their best when they get enough oxygen, the enough prana, the vital energy. And if it is not proper, then its functions are limited. And when the functions are limited, we suffer from diseases. And then this body becomes impaired to sit into the meditation. That's why yoga asana combined with mindful breathing creates a beautiful body which can sit easily. Let's do again. I have to reset my breath from that shallow, right? Let's do it again. Inhale, both hands up. And when we do this, we will do this. The prayer hands will stay right on top of our head and the elbows goes out. Beautiful. So this, we are creating a temple. And with the feel, we will inhale, we will have the feel like I'm inhaling the prana, the energy into the temple of my body. Exhale, I'm releasing the toxins, the bad, the clutter out of my temple. And this temple is physical and mental. Okay, let's do this again 5 times with these flowing meditative movements. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm inhaling beautiful energy, prana, into the temple of my mind and body. And exhaling all the clutters or what is not needed at this moment. One more time, inhale and exhale. Often the asana part, which we do on the mat, makes us being present in the moment. Because for most part of our day, we tend to do multiple tasking. Even though we are doing one thing, our mind is thinking of different things. We are not totally devoted to only one thing for most of our part, right? Except when we are into the deep sleep. In the superficial sleep, we also sleep and dream together. So yoga mat is a place where we can practice being in the moment, being present, what we are doing right now. So that is another benefit of practicing yoga asana. And one more thing, a benefit of yoga asana is certain poses, not very artistic or challenging. Again, while practicing yoga asana, we should not be uh, comparing ourselves, how we learned into the yamas and niyamas section again. We are not comparing to those ideal pictures, or if we are at a yoga studio, we are not comparing ourselves with other person in the studio or on the Zoom class. We just honor who we are, what my body capable of, and what I can do at this moment. Even our abilities can vary time to time. It is not the same every time we do yoga asana. So practicing yoga asana, taking the lessons, whatever difficulties I had going into the pose, however power of tolerance I needed to be in the pose, or to know, to discern the qualities of the requirement of the doing the pose, whether I have it or not. All of these lessons we learn on the yoga mat, we can take it off the mat. So whenever we met with difficult situations into the life, we can recall those moments we practice on the mat and deal with those situations in the life easily, taking the lessons of the yoga mat off the mat. So yoga asana technically helps on the mat and off the mat as well. Now, the reason many of us are practicing Raja Yoga meditation and some are not. But I would like to relate all this to Raja Yoga, how all this pertains, how it is, what Raja Yoga teachings are. So the non-violence, let's recall of the Yama section, the non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, the non-possessiveness, no greed, all of these in the Raja Yoga teachings. What are they? These jewels are in Raja Yoga teachings? Would anyone like to share of what their understanding is? Okay. So honoring others is also respecting and non-violence, right? So the purity, Raja Yoga teachings ask us to be pure from not just a physical form of purity, but mind, even at the thought level, words, our actions, all form of purity is non-violence. And Raja Yoga is asking us to remain pure forever. Second, the truthfulness is the soul consciousness, the Sato Pradhan stage of the soul, right? Non-stealing, we don't take in non-stealing when we feel like stealing from someone, when we feel that we don't have that thing, right? So whenever we have that urge that I don't have that, what if instead we give something to someone? So instead of taking, if we create a habit of giving, we will eventually lose that sense of we lack something. But if I am good at giving, I feel like I am a rich person. I have abundance and I have ability to give. So developing the ability to give in the Raja Yoga teachings is the benevolence, the world benefactor stage, right? And the non-greed is the royalty. Then all the niyamas, the cleanliness, socha, santosha, the tapas, all of that we learn the surrender, the Ishwar Pranidhan, and the Swadhyay, self-study in Raja Yoga teachings. Number one is the surrender to divine. That comes at number one. When we surrender ourselves, our ego, everything to the supreme, the higher divine, then nothing belongs to us. And when we have the non-belong, like I don't own anything, there is no ownership. There is no I, my, mine here. And there is no stealing. There is no need to have more. There is no desires. And when there are no desires, no expectations from others, and we are naturally bound to practice all the yamas, the jewels which establish our best relationship with the society, the yamas of the non-violence, the truthfulness. Because when we offer someone to something, in our relationship also, if we give we have to give a gift to the best person we either we honor or we like or we love. What kind of gift we will get? The best kind, right? And we can even stretch ourselves more to spend more to buy that gift, right? So we try to surrender, like we try to give everything what we have to gift that someone special. But think about the divine, the supreme. When we give ourselves to the supreme, we give the best of us, the best version of ourselves. And to give to the supreme, we try to become the best version of us. So in the yoga, the yama niyama flows that way. But in the Raja Yoga teachings, the surrender comes the first, and then everything else falls in its place. Isn't that beautiful? So let's, for next 10 minutes, we can practice a beautiful meditation and have a feel of adorning all these jewels in ourselves. I will play beautiful sound. Can you hear me with the music? Thank you. So we will try to sit in our best sitting position. We can even try to get rid of anything what we don't need at this moment. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a second or two. And pressing the belly in, exhale out completely. And for the next 2 breaths, we're going to inhale the same way, but exhale with a sigh. We will make a sound and sigh deeply, long sigh. Inhale again. Ah. Inhale. Ah. And relax. If your feet are touching to the ground, extend the legs to the front and just relax the legs. Get a little bit support in the back and relax the hips and back. Inhale and roll the shoulders up and release and relax. Eyes can be closed or open. This body is sitting on the chair. My body is sitting on the chair. And I am taking the breaths in and out. The one who sees the body and the one who feels the body breathing in and out. And the one who can even see the thoughts flowing in and away. Who is this entity? It's me, the beautiful soul. I reside within my body, exactly in the center of the forehead. At the top of this temple of the body. I am the being which makes this body alive. But I need this body to come into action. It's very important for me to have a healthy body. And the mind is my another strength. Mind and intellect are my strengths. I am present here in this moment. And I'm just recalling the teachings, the sharing I learned today in this class. These are the jewels of yamas and niyama. The non-violence to myself and others. Truthfulness. I live. I choose to live with my true self, my real self. And I choose to see the reality. Non-stealing. I be responsible. I let others be. Brahmacharya, celibacy. By practicing celibacy, I become divine. I am the one who walks with divine. And I see others with the same divinity. With my mental hands, the imaginary hands, I'm taking each of these yamas and fixing them in the crown on top of my head. And then the niyamas, the cleanliness, integrity, both physical and mental. Contentment, when I'm contented, I do not need anything more. I am a joyful being. Tapas, discipline, or the burning of desires. To transform myself, I need to be in the fire, the self-discipline, and the self-reflection, self-study. I also need to study the spiritual texts. And the last and most important jewel is the surrender to the divine. I'm putting another 5 gems, very shiny gems, in the crown on the top of my head. I feel I'm a royal, pure soul, the best version of myself. And I'm surrendering this best version of me to the higher divine, the Supreme Father. For the next few minutes, I, the soul, am a pure, beautiful soul. Seeing the beautiful, pure crown on my body. Surrendering to the higher divine. And sitting in the stillness, experiencing the ecstasy of meeting with the God. And with a long inhale in and exhale out, I'm bringing myself to the present moment, into this body, and feeling thankful. Om Shanti. That concludes our first session, how we can create an easy body, the fire, the breathe of life into this body. In the next class, we will learn how to take this breath of life into mind. I hope you all have enjoyed this session. We would welcome any feedback by any which way you are connected with Anubhuti, either website or message, email, whatever medium. Feel free to send the feedback. And if you want to see particular details into this series, then also feel free to share. Thank you.